This lesson's on 2.4 rotations. A rotation or turn is a transformation in which a figure is rotated about a point called center of rotation. Our center of rotation would be right here. The number of degrees a figure rotates is the angle of rotation. So we'll talk about the different angles, but the angle would be something right here. That would be the angle of rotation. So we will have a figure, and then we will rotate the figure. In a rotation, the original figure and its image are congruent. Let's talk about the degrees of rotation or the angles of rotation. We have is a 0 degrees that will start us off on the positive side of the x-axis. Then we have is a 90 degrees that will be on positive part of the y-axis. 180 degrees, which is on the negative of the x-axis. 270 degrees, which is on the negative y-axis. And then you would go back to 360 degrees. But our activities shouldn't go back to 360 degrees, so we'll talk about are the 4. Now, when we do a rotation, normally the rotation would go around this direction, and this is called the counterclockwise direction. The other direction that it will go is going around this direction, and this will be the clockwise direction, just like a regular clock. Now, if it goes clockwise direction, our degrees actually will change. So this becomes our 90 degrees when we go clockwise, and then 180 degrees will still remain the same, and 270 will now be up here when we go clockwise. So those are things that we will talk about because the rotation will either be clockwise or counterclockwise. Example 1, the vertices of the trapezoid are coordinate with W is -4, 2, X is coordinate of -3, 4, Y coordinate of -1, 4, and Z with the coordinate of -1, 2. We're going to rotate the trapezoid 180 degrees about the origin. So I drew this trapezoid, and what I'm going to use is called the patty paper. And the patty paper is a transparent paper. I already traced our patty paper with that. And since this is going around the origin, you need to draw a little like a cross on that origin right there, because that's going to help us when we do our rotation. So with this, we're going to rotate it around, and it depends on the rotation. In this case, 180 degrees, as we stated before, doesn't matter if it's counterclockwise or clockwise. So let's talk about is the rotation. From here, if I go clockwise rotation, we're going to go to the right side of that. So this is going to go to the rotation. So this is going to rotate around this way, and this is where that little cross on the origin will help, because when we line that up, that's going to be your 90 degrees of rotation clockwise. If we do another rotation, this rotation will come around clockwise, going this direction, and again we will line it up to the origin right there, that cross, and this will be your 180 degrees rotation. If we have to rotate it again one more time, the third time, then we will rotate it. And we do another rotation. If we do another rotation, matching up on our cross of the origin right there, this will give us the 270 degrees rotation. Now, if I go the counterclockwise, so going back to the original right there position, and we go counterclockwise, we're going to go to the left. So 90 degrees counterclockwise would go this direction, right there. That will be our 90 degrees. And if we go another rotation, that will give us 180 degrees. So we will rotate it here. That gives us 180 degrees rotation. And then if we go another rotation, that will give us a 270 on the rotation, and it will be in quadrant 1. So once we do the rotation, you want to get the coordinates and then be able to draw your image onto the actual paper of that. So with this, again, let's go back to this. This is our original right here, and we're rotating 180 degrees. So how many rotations will I need to go? I will need to go 2 rotations. So let's do 2 rotations. Here's 90, that's 1 rotation. And then 180 degrees, that's your second rotation right there. So once we get there, we're going to use the points that are on the coordinates. So if you look at it carefully, this point right here would be 4, -2. This point right here would be -1, -2. And so I'm just going to go ahead and write it on the patty paper and then transpose it to our paper. And so this right here will give us then a coordinate of -1, 2, 3, and -4. Okay, and then our last point right here at y, that will give us -1, -4. And so then from here, we can copy each of those points onto our paper. Example 2, the vertices of the triangle are J, which is a coordinate of 1, 2, K, which is a coordinate of 4, 2, and L, which is a coordinate of 1, -3. We're going to rotate this 90 degrees counterclockwise about the vertex L. From here, the vertex L is on the tip of the triangle right there at L. So that means I'm going to go ahead and take my patty paper, which I've already traced, and I'm going to make the little cross on the L because that's going to be my pivot point right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that's where I'm going to go ahead and rotate around. Which direction will I have to rotate this figure? Will it be to the left or to the right? It would have to be to the left because it is counterclockwise. And how many rotations will I go to? I will go to 1 rotation because it's a 90 degrees. So with this pivot point right there, I'm going to go ahead and rotate that because L's still matching up right there. And that's going to be your 90 degrees. So then from here, we would find our coordinates. So our coordinate in this case will be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So -4, 0. This is -4, 1, 2, 3, -3. And this would be coordinate of 1, -3. And then you would copy that to your original paper.